Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. Welcome to this channel. And if you're here for the first time, a very special welcome to you. We're very different from others, and you shall soon see how and why. The topic that we're covering today is 4 marriage mistakes that ruin marriages. And I'm going to break this into 2 sections, part 1 and part 2, because it could get a little bit extensive. I don't want you to just hear, oh, well, this was bad for my marriage, I'm going to stop doing that. I want you to have some depth, some understanding. At the Marriage Foundation, we're about transforming marriages, not just fixing things. So, part 1, we'll start with number 1. And this you'll relate to. Number 1 is, the big mistake is forgetting that marriage is not an autopilot kind of thing. It's not a ride at an amusement park where you get in and you just relax and enjoy it. And we act as if it is like that. We get married, very beautiful wedding ceremony. We always feel that touch of love that is so beautiful, don't we? And it's because you married your soulmate and you have made that connection with them, and you know that you married them so that you would be happy together till the end of your lives. And yet, in our world, it's very unusual for a couple to be married for any length of time without their marriage falling apart around them to one degree or another. And this is a big mistake. It contributes to that happening, is that we don't take an attitude of, I am now married, how do I behave? How do I think? How do I relate? What am I doing this for? Where am I going? You might think about marriage as a vehicle that brings you happiness, love, and harmony. Well, if you got into a car, and I hope you're not listening to this after cars are all automatic, like an elevator, but nowadays you get into a car, you better know what you're doing. You're sitting behind the wheel. It's a lot of weight, could kill people, and you want it to go to a particular place, you have to know how to deal with the car, how to operate it. You need to know what to listen for if something's going wrong. And you need to steer it, know how much to accelerate, how much to brake, and marriages are the same. Marriages are spiritual, it's true, because they're all about love and happiness, but there is a mechanical component. There's a mechanical component to everything in the universe, and marriage is not any different. And so people forget that. They just get married and they just think everything's going to be okay. Or they think, well, he or she is responsible for this, I'll take care of that. And they don't talk about it. It's just an assumption. And so they go on with their married life without contributing thought through behaviors. And I have to tell you that this is not just about how do I behave in my marriage. We're human beings. And so as human beings, we don't know much about ourselves either. We don't really know much about psychology. I mean, Western psychology, I hate to say it, it's more of a, well, when this happens, that happens kind of thing. Their explanations are just retarded. And so there's a psychological element in marriage too, but it's not that big a deal. But we need to apply that to ourselves. Why am I getting defensive? Why am I getting angry? Why am I being put off by this? Why aren't I behaving the way I always have before we got married? So getting married means taking on the responsibility of learning how to be married. Keep it that simple. Number 2, this is huge. Now, In part 2, I'm going to get into really huge topics too. I think I saved the last to be the most important. But number 2 is thinking that your spouse has to listen to your negativity. I'm going to repeat that. There's this belief that being open with your spouse means that they need to listen to you bitch and moan, that they need to listen to how you feel or how you experience this and what they should do about it. And that's just not true. It doesn't help at all when you share, such a nice word, isn't it? Share. But when you share things that are painful to you and you're thinking, well, they're married to me, they should know. Well, they can know without you just blurting it out. You could tell them about experiences that you're having outwardly where they might be able to help you with something, but when you use them as a dumping ground for your emotions, for your negativity, you're not living up to your promise to love them. You see, then you're creating this expectation in your marriage of them to just allow you to, quote unquote, be yourself. But that isn't yourself. Yourself is the soul. That's the true self. The mind is what is bogged down in emotions and all this suffering. Do you realize, do you know, and it's a rhetorical question because I know you don't, because we're not taught that. We are essentially souls. It's not true when we say, I have a soul. I mean, you can say it, but technically it's not true. Technically, you are the soul. This is not religious, by the way. And what that means is that you are the attributes of the soul, and the attributes of the soul, love, wisdom, joy, consciousness, that's who you really are. What we're not taught is that we have a mind. And this mind is a device that we use based on where we are. In this world, it's a great calculator, acts as a filter, but it also responds to the body's drive to survive. And that's when we get into trouble, because then it's going to be defensive, overly cautious. And the emotions are things that are indicators of the mind to us. I know this is a little esoteric, but it's all true. And what happens is, rather than getting into the emotions, and there's this current belief that we should honor our emotions, and that's just stupid. We should recognize that the emotions are messages from the mind's calculations to us. What we do with them is up to us. But to take those emotions and run with them and get into these fear-based emotions, because they're pretty much all fear-based, and then dump it on our spouse, is only going to undermine the harmony that we want in our marriage. And it's a big mistake. Now, I was a divorce mediator before I became a marriage savior, and I saw this, that especially when they've already reached the end of their marriage and they're wanting a divorce, couples tend to blame the other, and one of the big complaints is they never listen to me. Which may be true, but that isn't the cause of the divorce. And we don't have the right, if you really think about it, to dump our garbage on someone else's lawn, even when it's someone we're married to. So this is a huge mistake. Okay, we're going to go to part 2 in another video, but I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. I hope you're a subscriber. If not, you can be. It's very easy. I hope you like this. If you are interested in becoming a TMF marriage counselor, please visit that part of our website. We'd love to have you. And if nothing else, you could go to our website and learn the 10 do's and don'ts for marriage. That's a free download. And God bless you. Hope to see you again. Thank you and take care.